Last year, I married my partner of 4 years. We had two weddings, a traditional one in London and a destination wedding abroad. Now, having one wedding is expensive enough, but having two was a massive financial strain. Still, I told myself this is a once in a lifetime thing, and I wanted my wife to have the wedding she'd always dreamed of. Leading up to the weddings, I started working two jobs. I was practically living at work, doing everything I could to make it happen. My partner also picked up a second job to help fund things. Fast forward to the wedding, everything went beautifully. We had fun, made memories, and everyone showed up. I couldn't have asked for more. But about a month later, things started feeling off. My wife and I were arguing more than usual, and most of those arguments went unresolved. Even though we were fighting, she kept to her routine: work, gym, seeing friends, and whatever time she had left, she would spend with me. We argued often about date nights. I felt like I was going above and beyond to plan things, yet she never seemed to appreciate it. Eventually, I got tired. I felt like I was pouring into her, but getting nothing back. The tension started to affect our intimacy, and that's when I really felt something wasn't right. We even signed up for couples therapy, and while we were given tools to try, I couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was going on. Then one night, while she was asleep, I got this sudden urge to check her phone. Not because I wanted to snoop, but because I genuinely thought maybe she'd been venting to someone about our issues. What I found next? I could have never imagined. There were messages between her and her male best friend from a few months back before our wedding. She was asking him how to message a mutual friend to book a dick appointment. As I scrolled, I saw more messages between her and that same friend, joking about how fun it would be for an engaged woman to sleep with this mutual friend. At first, I was furious at the male best friend, someone who'd been around me, even attended my wedding, for encouraging that kind of talk. Then I looked at her DMs with the mutual friend himself. They were flirty, and she'd even messaged him asking to meet up to smoke weed, which was strange because my wife was so against smoking weed. At that point, my head was hot. I couldn't keep reading. I woke her up and confronted her. Who is this guy? Why are you cheating? She played dumb at first, acting like she had no idea what I was talking about. I pressed her, asking why she was messaging her male friend about booking a dick appointment. She brushed it off, saying, "We were just joking." I asked, "Do you think that's appropriate? You're engaged or married and talking like this?" She kept insisting it was just harmless fun, but for me, that was a deal breaker. I had no proof of physical cheating yet, but everything pointed to it. I asked her directly if she'd slept with him. She swore she hadn't. She lied so convincingly that I wanted to believe her. I told her she'd crossed a major line, and that even though we were newly married, I wasn't sure I could continue because I no longer trusted her. I left the house to think things through. We'd been together 4 years, and never once did I think she was capable of this. After some time apart, she made efforts to earn back my trust. I told her that if we were to move forward, she'll need to cut off her male friend and stop talking to the mutual friend. She agreed. A few weeks later, I decided to just observe. I wasn't pressuring her. I wanted to see her actions. We had a trip to the Philippines coming up. When I first found out about the messages, I'd unfollowed the mutual friend from her Instagram. So one day I checked again and saw that they were following each other again. I asked her why. She lied straight to my face, saying, "I don't think you ever unfollowed him." At that point, I was exhausted. I just said, "Okay," and played along. The next day, she went to work and left her old phone at home while transferring everything to a new one. I took the phone, logged back into her Instagram, and went straight to her messages. There it was. She and the mutual friend had continued talking and flirting. Then I checked her recently deleted folder. and saw explicit photos and videos of herself that I'd never seen before. I called her immediately, told her what I'd seen and that I was done. The lies, the deceit, I couldn't take it anymore. I said I was leaving the house and that I had her phone. She left work instantly and tracked me using Find My iPhone.
Wow.
I was sitting in my car going through the messages looking for something, anything, to confirm what I already knew, because I knew she would deny everything without proof. She pulled up to my car, banging on the window, demanding I open the door. I refused and showed her the messages through the glass. She started yelling, threatening to smash the window if I didn't open it. When I didn't, she picked up a brick and threw it at the car window. Oof. At that point, I thought about my safety and how it would look if things escalated, so I drove off. She ran to her car and started following me. Oh. While driving, she kept calling. I answered and let her have it. I told her how disgusting her behaviour was and begged her to just tell the truth. She kept lying. I felt every emotion at once: betrayal, anger, disgust. I didn't deserve this. I've always been loyal, never entertained other women. But the manipulation, the lying, even her threatening to harm herself to guilt me, it was all disgusting. Honestly, I don't even know how I stayed calm. I thank God every day, because if not for His grace, I might have done something stupid out of rage. Since that day, I haven't heard from her. And I don't want to. I'm slowly starting to share my story because so many people know I got married, but have no idea what kind of demon I was married to. There's a lot more to the story, but that's the best condensed version.
Poor guy.
I know.
It sounds like he doesn't even know who he married.
I laughed in my dad's face after my mum turned down his marriage proposal. I shouldn't find this so funny.
Mad. Oh, wow. Yeah, that would probably be me.
Something important before starting is that I'm a 27 male and my parents never married. My paternal grandfather married my grandmother after she got pregnant with his first son, my dad. And when the second baby came, he found out it wasn't his, but couldn't divorce her because our family are extremely religious. Not anymore, and divorce would not be on the table for him, since it would mean all of his family would cut him off, and he stayed with her until she passed away. My dad, who saw how unhappy his father was and how it affected his own life and his half-siblings too, decided he wouldn't marry until he had 2 kids of his own blood with his girlfriend. To be fair, he did talk with my mum about it, and initially she was okay with it since she understood how it affected him. I honestly somehow do too, but it still seemed unfair to my mum.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I didn't understand at the time, and as a teenager, I didn't feel the right to butt in or say anything. Well, my parents had me and were happy, but there were no marriage plans yet. But it was fine, they just needed to have another child. So, they tried for years and years and years, and now here we are, his only son, almost in his 30s, and they are still not married. My mum had fertility issues, but she wasn't infertile, and they attempted to get pregnant for many years despite the difficulties, but they never could. My mum suggested I go for adoption, but it didn't align with my dad's self-imposed rule of having 2 biological children with his partner to marry, so he declined. They eventually stopped trying and seemed okay together, but my mum constantly asked to get married since they were together since high school, but my dad did not want that because he wanted to marry after having 2 children, which was now off the table. So eventually my mum gave up and stopped asking. With that said, there was never an issue out of it that affected me directly until a few years ago. See, as I'm an only child, my parents kind of expected me to give them a grandchild. And when my parents, or should I say my dad, decided to stop trying for another baby, they agreed that they would marry when I have my own child.
What is these rules?
I didn't know it until 2 years ago, because a few years ago I came out as gay.
No, come on.
And evidently I won't have any biological kids.
Damn.
I don't discard the possibility of adoption, but it's not in my plans, and my dad wants a bio grandson. So, unintentionally, I destroyed that last hope of them helping raise my child to finally get married. Although it's not my fault, but my dad's ridiculous norm he had for himself, so I don't feel one bit of guilt or any remorse. At this point, my mum doesn't even care about marriage anymore. She's 58, and even before I revealed I was gay, she didn't think she would ever get married to my dad because of how much he seemed to have in his requirements to compromise. A few days ago, my parents, 2 of my aunts, my uncle, my dad's half-brother, and I were celebrating my mum's birthday, and she was having a nice time. She was smiling a lot, and we were giving out our presents to her to open on the spot. When it was my dad's turn, it was one of the first gifts she opened. It was a small box. No, it wasn't a rings box. It was like the size of a necklace box, so it wasn't that obvious at that moment. And when she opened it, there was a paper that said, "Would you marry me?" She turned to my dad, who was getting on one knee, taking out an engagement ring out of his pocket and waiting for my mum's response, who was looking at him with a strange look that almost seemed to make me laugh by how serious she was. She looked at him, then at my family, who were visibly more shocked than her. I was too, but I was kind of just staring blankly. So apparently no one other than my dad knew about his proposal plans, and she just said, let's not spoil the moment right now. Let me open the rest of the gifts. My dad apparently was shocked by how indifferent my mum was and sat down without saying anything, while my mum went back to cheerfully opening the rest of her gifts. And the rest of the family was also enthusiastic about it. Maybe a bit too excessively, but I guess it was to avoid thinking of the awkward moment that had just happened. And after enjoying the meal, we all went to our homes. Well, that was 2 days ago, and today my dad asked if he could come to my house, and I said yes. I thought he was going to vent about what happened at my mum's birthday, and I was totally right. He cried a bit, saying he had planned to propose to my mum after thinking a lot about it, that he was now ready, and that he wanted to spend the rest of his life with her, that he couldn't believe she humiliated him like that in front of the family. And the whole time I had to keep my straight face because it was so difficult because of my dad's nonsense, until he said the last phrase and I couldn't hold back anymore and started laughing my arse off. Obviously, he got mad and asked why I was making fun of him. I don't hate my dad, but I was a little too mean to him and said a lot of stuff I didn't say as a teenager and even as an adult because it wasn't my business how they handled their relationship. To summarize, I told him something like, I don't know what you expected after leaving my mum waiting for almost 40 years for a proposal. You didn't need to wait for her to get pregnant again just because that old hag was a cheater. Or did you think my mum was a cheater too? If she was a cheater, why did you stay? If you knew she wasn't, what was the point of that stupid goal of having 2 children to prove she wasn't having an affair? And I kept going off on him for like 40 minutes.
Good.
He was so shocked I raised my voice to him since I had never done that to anyone. He stayed quiet during my whole rant.
Good.
And when I finished, he just avoided looking at me and simply apologized. I gave him some coffee before he left so he would calm down and possibly talk to my mum. I think they will get married. But I was so annoyed that he decided to do it at the worst moment, in the worst place, and in front of everyone, and then complained he felt humiliated, as if my mum wasn't waiting for him for decades, for him to not even consider marriage until they got old. Bruh, I just wanted to rant. Sorry for the long text. LOL.
No, that is hilarious. The mum was fed up. Do you know how long she's been waiting? And also, I'm sorry, even from the beginning, I was like, what are these stupid rules? You have to have 2 babies first, and then he needs a bio grandchild. Like, what is these rules? Don't get me wrong, I know generational trauma is a thing. Things get passed down to us. The stuff that we witness, we don't want to go through it ourselves. But honestly, if you find a good one, you stay with that good one.